This was interesting. I haven't read this article yet. I saw the headline. I thought it was interesting. As someone who routinely trashes bad movies, and I saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, I didn't think it was bad at all. I actually enjoyed the movie. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania writer surprised by terrible reviews. Quote, I was in a low spot and really sad about it. It kind of makes me feel a little bad. A little bit. It makes me feel bad. It's a good reminder every now and then that, people who create, this content that we all consume, writers and actors, directors, etc. It's a good reminder that these people are people. They're still human beings. So even though your favorite franchise may not have been treated with a level of respect or whatever you think it demands, it's not necessarily grounds to publicly skewer some of these people. I mean, based off of, if they wrote something that you didn't like, not pertaining to if they did something shitty, behind the scenes. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania writer Jeff Loveness was tasked with creating the most ambitious Ant-Man movie yet and introducing the MCU's new Thanos-sized villain, Kang the Conqueror, Jonathan Majors. The results have been somewhat disastrous. Not only is Quantumania one of the worst reviewed Marvel films in history, it's 48% on Rotten Tomatoes, nearly matches the Eternals' record low score of 47, but the film dropped 69% at the box office in its second weekend, marking the second biggest drop in MCU history. Quote, to be honest, those reviews took me by surprise, Loveness recently told the Daily Beast about the extreme critical bashing Quantumania faced. I was in a pretty low spot. Those were not good reviews, and I was like, what the... Yeah, I didn't think I didn't think it was a bad movie. To be fair, the Ant-Man movies have all been kind of mid. The first one was fine. It was a fun movie. It was a lot better than I thought it would be. I thought the movie was going to be outright trash, and then I went and watched it in the theaters, and I was like, oh, that was an enjoyable romp. It was fine. And then the second movie was worse than the first one, but, it was still... I mean, I can't really remember a lot of it, except for Lawrence Fishburne was in it for some reason for a little while. But it was just, it was worse than the first one, but it was still technically a watchable movie. It was fine. So to me, the Ant-Man franchise was never a franchise that was like, oh man, this is going to be a world-ending blockbuster, blah, 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 blah. Now, having said that, the build-up for Quantumania was all about gearing that movie to be viewed as that kind of a thing. It was all about the multiverse, and it had all this fantastical imagery. And whereas the first two Ant-Man movies were based more in reality, based in San Francisco and whatever city. I guess both maybe San Francisco. I forget, but it was based in the real world. It was based in reality. Just a man growing and shrinking in reality. But this one was more fantastical. It was the quantum realm and all these weird multi-dimensional creatures and space aliens and all this other stuff and time-traveling wizards and it was much more of a bombastic, swashbuckling Star Wars kind of thing. So I understand that was what they were trying to juice up the series a bit more. And honestly, what they ended up with was a movie that, in my view, was more compelling than the first Ant-Man and Ant-Man 2. Had some pretty awesome things to look at. I like Jonathan Majors. He was the best part of the movie. I think that the movie was more about Kang than anything else, to me at least. But I mean, I thought it was still a fun movie. As far as Ant-Man movies are concerned, probably my favorite one. I just don't think that. I mean. It was a good movie, okay? 48%, whatever. Rotten Tomatoes doesn't really mean much, honestly, if you're just trying to look at it from face value. In order for something to be deemed as fresh versus rotten, it just means that a critic has to say, yeah, it's watchable. I liked it. Versus somebody that's I thought it had a lot going for it, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't my thing, And those probably exist in close to the same realm, right? Okay, sure, but if not, fine. And there's no metric in Rotten Tomatoes for catching that, right? It's either all or nothing. And so you don't really get a solid view of what a movie that exists in 48, 50, 51, 52, any kind of movie in Rotten Tomato that kind of falls in that number range, should not be, in my view, shouldn't be viewed as a bad movie. To me, all Ant-Man movies probably exist in that. Honestly, to me, most Marvel movies in general exist in this nebulous 47 to 53% range, where it's like, yeah, that was kind of neat. I had fun. Maybe not my thing. I don't know if I'd recommend it. It's a lot of money going to a theater, or yeah, I recommend it. That's fine. I mean, yeah, it is a lot of money going to a theater, but you'll have a decent time. It's pretty good. Yeah, whatever. It's either 40, 47 or 53. That kind of squishy in between, squishy middle. That's probably where, in my view, most MCU movies sit. So, to me, when I saw the movie, I thought, like, yeah, okay, that was fine. It was a pretty good movie. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Liked it more than the other Ant-Man movies. I thought it had some cool stuff in it. There's no reason to not go see it if you like Marvel movies. There's no reason to go see it if you don't like Marvel movies. So, it's right there. But I don't regard it as a bad movie at all. And I don't think that it's like especially disastrous or anything. I don't know, maybe. And I was looking at like the box office returns for the Ant-Man movies, and each one has a better opening weekend box office than the last. So it is at least continuing on that trajectory. But this movie's about to run into a stacked March. Like March and April, there's a lot of heavy hitters coming out into the theaters. And this part right here, the 69% drop in its second weekend, that's probably going to hit a wall once Creed 3 comes out. And then I think, what else is coming out in March? I just looked at it the other day. So yeah, you have Creed 3, Scream 6, then you have Shazam, John Wick, that's right. Then you have John Wick towards the end of March. And then the Dungeons and Dragons movie, we'll see how that one fares. I don't know if there's any hype around that or not, but I'm certainly going to go see it as a, D&D and role-playing aficionado I am. I'm going to be in there watching that one. And then that's how March is going to look. So by the time, I guess tomorrow is March 1st, huh? So I guess Creed is just later this week. Like, there's going to be a lot of new stuff. And even Creed, in a couple weeks, it's going to be going up against Scream 6. And then it's going to be going up against Shazam and all of that. So, it's going to be tough for Ant-Man. I don't think it's going to recover from that 69% drop. And then April is when that Mario movie comes out. April 7th. I think Evil Dead comes out. Oh, Renfield, that's going to be a cult one with Nick Cage playing as Dracula. Evil Dead Rises, Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be a lot. There's gonna be a lot. April. I don't know if Ant-Man's gonna live in the theaters for much of April. It might be on the way out by mid-April, honestly, but certainly by late April, because early May is gonna be Guardians Volume 3. So, there is a shot that Ant-Man is gonna end up underperforming in general. Like in total, but if it does, it isn't going to be underperforming by much. I mean, you could have the absolutist view that an L is an L, but so long as it makes its money back, how big a L is an L? I'm really proud of what I wrote for Jonathan Majors and Michelle Pfeiffer. Loveness added. I thought it was good stuff, and I was so just despondent. I was really sad about it. No, that bums me out, man. That bums me out. I thought that Kang was the best part of that movie. I thought the movie was really mostly about him, and I was fascinated by it. And Jonathan Majors did a great performance, so that was fine. I like that. As far as Michelle Pfeiffer as Janet Pym, I think she had some good moments. She had some good scenes. She had a great scene with Bill Murray. And you got to see Bill Murray be very sinister and kind of threatening, which is a neat thing. But yeah, I mean, there was some good stuff there too. Loveless got in better spirits after he decided to attend a public screening of Quantumania after the negative reviews came out. The screenwriter listened as the audience member laughed at many of the jokes he added to the script. I'm like, God damn. No, the reviews are wrong. He had a Principal Skinner moment in the theater. That's funny. God damn. No, the reviews are wrong. I'm right. MODOK is great. He said watching the film on opening weekend. All right, MODOK. MODOK was interesting. I mean, there's no doing that character justice outside of making him a joke in these kinds of movies. So they probably handled MODOK the best way they possibly could. They did a call out to a character in the first Ant-Man movie. They made a joke of it. They made him kind of threatening. There was a little bit of a threat there, but then like they kind of went over the top, you know, during the last moments of his scenes. Kind of a little bit too much there, but I mean, other than that, MODOK was fine. It fit with all the other wacky stuff that was going on in there. I'm pretty happy with it overall, and I think I learned how to take a punch this week. And now that I learned that it's not too bad, I can just get on with making things. Well, you know what? It's a great lesson to learn. It's a great takeaway. So I'm glad for him for that. With Paul Rudd, we had the opportunity to do this throwback 90s dad protagonist the way Robin Williams in Hook or Jumanji feels, Loveness said. You have this playful superhero that most people think is pretty low stakes, and the pitch we had was, what if he accidentally, in an Avengers movie, basically by himself, wait, what? How did I read that? And the pitch we had was, what if he's accidentally in an Avengers movie, basically by himself, completely out of his depth? Yeah, okay, I guess. That felt like a really fun challenge to tackle. Loveness is sticking with Marvel and is currently developing the script for Avengers Kang Dynasty. Okay, cool. That's fine. I didn't mind Ant-Man, so I'm cool with him doing that. Hey everybody, thanks for watching the video. If you liked what you just saw, hit the like. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. I'd appreciate it if you did both. They would be very good for the channel and help me build the community here. If you have any kind of comments or opinions or anything like that, by all means drop them in the comments section below. I like engaging with y'all, want to do more of that, so thank you again and see you next time.